Looking back at 2024, do you feel that some goals were left unachieved or some opportunities slipped by? Perhaps there was a moment when you were full of determination only to set things aside for various reasons. Maybe you've regretted a wrong decision and found yourself stuck in the what-if scenarios. These feelings are not unique to you. Regret is something everyone encounters when reflecting on the past year. There are times when we pause and look back at unfinished business, wondering why we couldn't seize those opportunities. However, the essence of regret isn't just about what was left undone. It's about the misalignment between our thoughts and actions. 2024 is behind us, and 2025 is waiting to open new doors. The real question is, are you willing to let past mistakes repeat in the coming year? Starting now, imagine a different possibility. Stop obsessing over what's lost and focus on what can still be changed. Break free from habitual thinking and explore new approaches. Stop letting procrastination hold you back and meet the future with a calmer attitude. All of this is not out of reach. It can be achieved by gradually shifting how we think and act. In the following sections, we'll explore 5 key perspectives on how to reduce regret and improve the quality of your life, making 2025 a year without regrets. These 5 points are respecting the laws of nature, respecting common sense, developing dialectical thinking, maintaining flexibility, and learning balance. Each one will serve as a guide to a more composed life, helping you turn reflection into action. Regret may leave its mark in the past, but it doesn't have to be a chain that holds you back in the future. Are you ready to start a new journey in 2025? Number 1, respecting the laws. Embrace the unchangeable realities. We often hear the phrase, "You can do anything if you put your mind to it," but this saying doesn't apply to every situation. True wisdom lies in discerning what can be changed and what must be accepted. Laws are constant forces that shape the way the world works. Whether it's the ebb and flow of the tides in nature or the universal traits of human nature in society, they reflect the irresistible power of these laws. Trying to fight against the fundamental principles deeply rooted in reality will only waste time and energy. Respecting these laws isn't about passive compromise, but about making wise choices. It's the beginning of acknowledging limitations and optimizing actions. Laws may seem intangible, but they profoundly influence every decision and outcome. For example, a seed has its season to sprout. No matter how much water or fertilizer you provide, you cannot force it to bloom ahead of its time. Life is similar. Trying to rush things or achieve goals beyond your current capacity only leads to increased frustration. Many of the regrets from 2024 may stem from this very misunderstanding. Neglecting the existence of natural laws and investing too much energy in futile efforts, ultimately resulting in disappointment. This regret serves as a deep reminder that laws are the foundation of all things. Understanding how to work with them is the true path to growth. As Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "Accept whatever happens as if you had chosen it. This is in harmony with nature, just as the seasons are." This philosophical insight reminds us that many of life's conflicts and pains come from our refusal to face objective realities. For example, when dealing with our physical limitations, if we constantly berate ourselves for not reaching certain goals instead of adjusting our expectations, we only fall deeper into negative emotions. Respecting the laws means accepting those realities we cannot change, rather than clinging to impossible transformations. Living against the laws of nature is like swimming upstream. The flow of the river won't change because someone insists on fighting it. On the other hand, those who learn to flow with the current reach their destination with the least effort. This isn't about giving up, but rather focusing energy on areas where success is more likely. For example, in business, many people stubbornly try to climb a path they can never break through, overlooking other areas where their strengths could thrive. Understanding the natural laws of the industry and following market trends is the smarter strategy. Similarly, in relationships, people often cling to changing an incompatible partner, trying to use love and patience to alter their character or behavior. Unfortunately, relationships, like the laws of nature, cannot be changed by one-sided effort. Letting go of people or situations that cannot be changed is an expression of respect for these laws, and this choice doesn't signify failure, but instead grants an opportunity to start anew. While laws may seem restrictive, they also provide freedom. When we acknowledge the boundaries of things, we can better control our actions. Just like building a bridge requires respecting the laws of physics, ignoring these laws will only lead to collapse. Once we understand these principles, engineers can design safer, more majestic bridges. The same applies in everyday life. Laws set boundaries for our actions. But within these limits, we find the direction to move forward. Imagine a writer trying to force themselves to meet an excessive daily writing goal, ignoring the fact that inspiration needs to build over time. Defying this natural law only leads to increased stress and lower quality writing. But when they respect the rhythm of creativity and work in harmony with the creative process, they can produce high-quality work in a more relaxed state. The dual nature of laws helps us set realistic goals and teaches us to cooperate with ourselves rather than constantly punishing ourselves. Respecting the laws is not just about understanding them. It requires translating that understanding into action. First, we need to assess whether our goals align with objective realities. If the goal itself defies the laws, no amount of effort will succeed. Second, our plans should be based on realistic resources and capabilities, avoiding idealistic over-design. Finally, during execution, we must regularly reflect on our progress and evaluate whether we are fighting against the laws. If we find ourselves stuck in ineffective persistence, we should immediately adjust our course. The significance of respecting the laws lies in the fact that it not only reduces unnecessary regrets, but also helps us find more efficient and feasible paths. Life is short. Rather than expending energy fighting invisible forces, we should choose to cooperate with them. Laws are the foundation of life, and respecting them is a true sign of maturity. Number 2. Respecting common sense, building a clear foundation for judgment. In today's world of information overload, common sense may seem less scarce, yet it is increasingly overlooked. It is meant to be our compass for navigating a complex world. Yet many people, in their pursuit of novelty or blind following, neglect the most fundamental principles. This deviation often comes at a high cost, sometimes leading us into situations that could have been avoided. The power of common sense lies in how it provides a solid foundation for making judgments. For instance, the simple idea that overspending can lead to financial problems is something many people forget, especially during the consumer frenzy of the holiday shopping season. The result is piling up credit card bills and a financial mess. Following common sense doesn't mean giving up on exploration, but rather serving as a reminder that any behavior that defies basic logic should raise a red flag. Otherwise, our choices could push us into an abyss.
What happens when we ignore common sense? Rumors often spread because they resonate with people's preconceived notions or exaggerate facts to make them more appealing. Without the protection of common sense, people tend to believe and spread this information as truth. This not only causes panic, but can also have irreversible consequences. For example, many health rumors promote extreme, quick-fix methods that ignore scientific logic and common sense, leading some to misuse medications or fall into unnecessary fear. Similarly, in relationships, trusting certain so-called dating strategies while neglecting basic principles of respect and communication doesn't improve the relationship. It may actually hasten its collapse. Ignoring common sense results in more than wasted time and energy. It can damage our health, finances, and even trust between people.
When it comes to building a clear foundation for judgment, common sense acts as the foundation that determines whether the entire structure will stand firm. For example, when faced with major decisions, adhering to common sense helps us effectively mitigate risks. In choosing investment channels, basic financial principles remind us that high returns are always accompanied by high risks. However, many people, driven by greed, ignore this fact and end up falling for Ponzi schemes or similar traps. These lessons remind us that straying from common sense is like trying to build a skyscraper on sand. It's bound to collapse. Adhering to common sense also helps us sift through the overwhelming amount of information available and extract what truly matters. In today's society, everyone can be an information producer, but the quality of that information varies greatly. Some seemingly logical and attractive ideas often don't hold up to the test of common sense. For example, those promoting quick wealth or success, upon closer inspection, are often disconnected from real life because they violate the fundamental principle that success requires accumulation. For this reason, we need to use common sense as a filter, sifting through advice to identify what is truly trustworthy rather than blindly chasing every shiny new idea. Respecting common sense is not only for self-protection, but also for better integration into society. Common sense provides stable and predictable behavior patterns, which in turn foster more harmonious relationships. For instance, when a friend or colleague makes a request, common sense reminds us to balance our own capacity with the other person's needs. Ignoring these basic considerations in an attempt to show off might end up harming our own health and will likely fail to truly help the other person. Behavior guided by common sense not only helps us avoid conflict, but also makes others feel that we are reliable and sincere. What we must be wary of is overconfidence in common sense. Sometimes people take a one-sided understanding as common sense and fall into a cognitive blind spot. For example, the widely accepted idea that young people should work themselves to the bone ignores the importance of physical and mental health. When this one-dimensional common sense is blindly adopted, it not only fails to guide our lives, but can also bring unintended negative consequences. Therefore, while respecting common sense, we must also reflect on and adjust it appropriately to ensure it remains relevant to our current era and circumstances. Common sense is simple and effective. It reminds us of the most basic truths and provides a stable framework for life. In 2025, if we want to avoid the regrets of 2024, we must pay greater attention to this foundational principle. Only by respecting common sense can we maintain clear judgment in a complex world, reduce poor decisions, and step toward a more secure future. Number 3. Embracing dialectical thinking, seeing the many sides of the world. Human thinking tends to simplify things in order to quickly make sense of the world. However, the reality we live in is full of complexity and contradictions, and many issues cannot be neatly summarized as simply right or wrong. This is where dialectical thinking becomes an essential skill. It allows us to look beyond the black and white dichotomy and see the hidden gray areas, leading us to the real answers. The core of dialectical thinking lies in acknowledging the existence of contradictions. Things often contain two opposing sides that, while conflicting, are also interdependent. For example, individual freedom and social order may seem opposed, but at a deeper level, they work together to create a harmonious society. Overemphasizing freedom could lead to chaos, while an excessive pursuit of order might stifle creativity. Therefore, understanding the balance between the two is key to finding the optimal solution in seemingly irreconcilable contradictions. From a philosophical perspective, dialectics emphasizes the principle of unity of opposites, meaning that everything develops through contradictions. For example, the Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius wrote in his Meditations, "We cannot control external events, but we can control our reactions to them." On the surface, this quote seems to emphasize human agency, but if we think more deeply, it reveals a profound dialectical relationship. Although external changes are beyond our control, our internal reactions remain free. This integration of external laws with internal agency is a clear embodiment of dialectical thinking. In everyday life, dialectical thinking helps us navigate the complexity of multiple decision-making options. For instance, when faced with the decision to switch jobs, your intuition might tell you that the new opportunity is more attractive and that you should leave your current position without hesitation. However, if you only look at the surface, you might overlook the hidden value of your current job, such as stable team relationships and familiarity with the company culture. Dialectical thinking helps us analyze the problem from multiple angles. The new position might offer a higher salary but come with more stress. The current job might be dull but provide greater security and growth potential. In this situation, dialectical thinking encourages you to weigh all factors rather than basing your decision on a single advantage or disadvantage. Another typical scenario where dialectical thinking is useful is resolving interpersonal conflicts. It reminds us not to focus solely on the other person's mistakes while ignoring our own faults. Most conflicts arise from the interaction of both parties' behaviors rather than from the wrongdoing of just one side. For example, when you have a disagreement with a friend, dialectical thinking can help you step outside emotional boundaries and view the situation from both perspectives. Did your words hurt the other person? Is your argument really sound? Only through this comprehensive examination can you find the key to resolving the conflict, rather than letting it escalate further. Dialectical thinking also helps us understand the complexity of social issues. Today, many social topics present clear opposing sides, such as environmental protection versus economic development, or technological advancement versus human ethics. Some people hold extreme views, believing that economic progress must come at the cost of the environment, while others advocate for halting industrial activities entirely to save the planet. Dialectical thinking guides us to see that both extremes are unsustainable. Economic development needs environmental protection as its foundation, while environmental work requires economic resources. Only by finding balance between these opposing viewpoints can society achieve sustainable progress. At a deeper level, dialectical thinking is not just a methodology, but an open attitude toward the world. It requires us to accept the world's imperfection and the limitations of any single perspective. This mindset makes us more tolerant and less swayed by bias. For example, when confronted with different cultures or values, dialectical thinking helps us understand the reasoning behind others' actions instead of simply judging them by our own standards. In this way, we can cooperate more effectively with others and draw wisdom from diverse perspectives. Of course, dialectical thinking doesn't mean always taking a middle ground. It encourages us, when facing contradictions, to think deeply and find answers closer to the truth. It is a search for truth, not a compromise between opposing forces. As Hegel said, contradiction is the driving force of development. Only by confronting contradictions and extracting the rationality of both sides can we achieve true progress, both personally and socially. In 2025, whether you're looking to improve decision-making, enhance self-awareness, or better handle relationships, dialectical thinking will be an indispensable tool. It helps us face complex problems without being controlled by narrow emotions or biases, allowing us to take a more rational and comprehensive approach to everything. By doing so, we can not only gain a clearer understanding of the world's many dimensions, but also find our own path forward in what may seem like a chaotic reality. Number 4, embrace flexibility. Finding opportunities amid change. In a world that's constantly changing, flexibility often becomes the key to success. Whether in personal life or the workplace, plans don't always unfold as expected. External changes and unexpected events are inevitable. In the face of such changes, flexibility isn't about abandoning your goals. It's about being able to adjust your strategies and direction when conditions shift, allowing you to seize opportunities in the midst of change instead of being constrained by a rigid plan. Flexibility isn't about compromising. It's not about going with the flow, but rather about adjusting your course based on insight into the environment and a clear understanding of your goals. It's the ability to adapt proactively, helping us find the most effective course of action in a complex world, rather than sticking to a fixed pattern. The philosophy of the Stoic school emphasizes accepting uncontrollable external changes while focusing on controlling our inner responses. Marcus Aurelius wrote in Meditations, "The only things you can control are your own thoughts and actions. The external world need not be a source of concern." This reminds us that clinging to a fixed plan might cause us to miss opportunities. Instead, by staying flexible, we can adjust our strategies and adapt more effectively to reach our goals. In life, flexibility means maintaining a clear sense of purpose while adapting to ever-changing circumstances. For example, career planning is influenced by factors such as the economy, industry trends, and personal interests. Clinging too rigidly to an initial goal could cause us to miss new opportunities. By adjusting our strategies in response to new information, we can find opportunities even amid turmoil. What should we do when our plans fail? This is a crucial question. Can you quickly identify the problem and come up with a new solution? Are you able to let go of fixed assumptions and look at the issue from a different angle? These questions help us reflect on our adaptability, which is the essence of flexibility. We can't predict every change that tomorrow will bring. Factors such as the environment, emotions, and health may all affect our plans. The ability to remain calm and quickly adjust our strategies helps us overcome difficulties. Clinging too tightly to a plan might make us miss the best solution. Flexibility also requires forward thinking. Being able to anticipate changes and prepare in advance allows us to seize opportunities more quickly. In the workplace, those who can identify industry trends and adjust their course ahead of time tend to move ahead more effectively. Therefore, flexibility isn't just about responding to change. It's about the wisdom of anticipating and preparing for what's to come. In 2025, how do we find opportunities amid change? The answer lies in flexibility. By maintaining a clear understanding of our goals while adjusting our strategies based on changes in the environment, we can keep moving toward our objectives, whether facing challenges or embracing known changes. Number 5, finding balance, navigating the line between effort and letting go. In life, balance is at the heart of minimizing regrets. We often find ourselves caught between the extremes of overexertion and giving up. Overworking can leave us physically and mentally drained, leading to overwhelming stress and a loss of control. On the other hand, giving up too much might cause us to miss out on opportunities that could bring growth and achievement. Finding the right balance between these two extremes is crucial in helping us avoid regret and disappointment. Balance doesn't mean evenly distributing time and energy across every area of life. Rather, it involves adjusting based on the priorities of each phase. Life is constantly shifting, and true balance lies in being able to adapt to the current needs, goals, and resources. This balance requires us to manage the relationship between work, rest, responsibility, and freedom, ensuring that none of these aspects dominate excessively. For example, in our careers, we need to invest enough effort to pursue our goals and dreams, but we must also recognize the importance of rest and relaxation. Overworking can harm our physical and mental health, and even negatively impact long-term career growth. On the other hand, if we focus too much on relaxation and enjoyment, we might miss out on career advancement opportunities. Therefore, finding a way to balance time between work and rest and avoiding burnout or laziness is key to professional success. When it comes to health, balance is equally crucial. While it's important to maintain physical health, we must also care for our mental and emotional well-being. We should find time for regular exercise, ensure enough sleep, and maintain a healthy diet. But these efforts should not become so extreme that they affect our overall quality of life. Healthy habits require a balance between indulgence and strictness, maintaining a sustainable and fulfilling lifestyle. Emotional balance is also vital in relationships. Whether in intimate relationships or social interactions, investing too much in one side may cause us to neglect the other, leading to imbalance. Healthy relationships require enough personal space and freedom, allowing both people to grow. If we focus too much on ourselves or neglect communication, it can lead to emotional distance. Thus, in intimate relationships, it's essential to balance personal space with mutual dependence. From a philosophical perspective, balance reflects wisdom. Stoic philosophy teaches that you cannot control everything around you, but you can control your reactions. This is the perfect explanation of balance. While we cannot avoid the stresses and challenges life throws at us, we can adjust our inner state and coping strategies to find peace. In the face of work and life demands, achieving balance is not just about external actions. It's about achieving inner calm and contentment. Ultimately, balance is not a fixed state, but a continuous process of adjustment. At each stage, we must make the necessary adjustments to ensure we don't lose direction between effort and letting go. When we learn to adapt our rhythm based on changes in the environment and our inner needs, we avoid missing greater opportunities due to rigid thinking. Through this dynamic balance, we can find our own pace in all areas of life, living with more ease, minimizing regrets, and moving toward a more fulfilling future. Looking back at 2024, each of us may feel some regrets, unachieved goals, missed opportunities, or changes we didn't make. Yet it's these very regrets that teach us an important lesson: how to live better. By respecting principles, common sense, dialectical thinking, flexibility, and balance, we can reduce regrets, improve our quality of life, and move toward a more composed future. These mindset shifts are not just about changing our perspective, they are guides for action. Don't let past mistakes hold you back. In 2025, it's your time to break through and reach new heights. Starting now, make changes, boldly move toward your goals, and let these 5 mindset shifts become your fresh source of motivation. Regret is a mark of the past, while action is the key to the future. In 2025, use these 5 mindset shifts to start a new chapter.